Roll it. Hey, it's Dan Uslan from Michigan Avenue Magazine. I'm here with the David Schwimer. David, welcome to Chicago. What's it like to be back?
Thanks, Dan. It's great. This is great. Especially you broke out the beautiful weather for this event, and thank you for that. It's amazing, especially for a roof deck party. It's great. I just started rehearsal yesterday for the new play I'm directing, Big Lake, Big City for Looking Glass, and so far so good. No complaints.
Well, tell us, what does it mean to be celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Looking Glass? It must be real special for you.
It is. It's incredibly humbling, and also really fills me with a lot of pride and emotion. As you can imagine, it's something I started with 7 other students at Northwestern University about 25 years ago, and to come full circle now and be able to direct again for the company, which I try to do every couple of years, is just really really fun, really amazing. So
I know you're really excited about Big Lake, Big City. Can you tell me a little bit about the show?
Big Lake is it's called Big Lake, Big City. It's written by Keith Huff, who's a Chicago playwright who came to national acclaim with one of his plays called The Steady Rain that was produced on Broadway with Hugh Jackman and Daniel Craig. He also was a writer on House of Cards, the first season, which is phenomenal. Anyway, Keith has been writing for many years here in Chicago, and he sent me this play, which I fell in love with. It's a big, sprawling, dark comedy, basically, an homage to film noir. With a crazy, eclectic cast of characters. It's 10 actors playing about 40 different roles in an incredibly fast-paced, comically absurd, dark, sexy thriller. And it's just a blast, and it's definitely going to be an experience. So unlike anything the company's done in 25 years, actually. So.
Well, I got to tell you that we are really proud of you, and Michigan Avenue is. And as I was telling you, we think this is one of our best covers. But what do you think of the cover?
Oh, it's definitely your best cover. So I can't say that. The cover's great. I don't think I've ever looked so good coming out of paper. No, Andrew, the photographer. It was funny because the cover image was the last 2 minutes of the photo shoot. He just had this idea. Hey, why don't we're done, basically. We got it. Why don't you just go behind the thing and just burst through it? I'm like, all right. And literally, that's what ended up being the cover. It's not like that took like 3 minutes to do. So it's all him, really. I can't take any credit for it. It was fun, though, to kind of feel like the shoot was over and feel like, all right, let's just try this. And it turned out to be an image, I think, with a lot of energy. That's right, not only for the play that I'm about to direct, but I think for spring and for being in Chicago right now, that's kind of has the right energy of the moment, so it's good.
So speaking about being in Chicago, tell me, what are some of your favorite go-to spots?
Oh, man, there's so many. One of my best buddies is Billy Deck, who has this restaurant Sunda, which I love. I'm also going to check out his new place, which I think later tonight, I Chihuahua. I love this place Avec on Randolph, which is in my hood. I live in the West Loop. Oh my God, there's just so many great Chicago is. It's not the best kept secret in terms of restaurants, but one thing I love about Chicago is the variety of fantastic restaurants and chefs that have been emerging the last 15 years. It's quite amazing.
So what do you obviously are watching the theater scene in Chicago. Yeah. Tell me what you think about how it's been evolving.
Well, it's great because it's evolving in a way that it's retained the kind of sense of community, which we've always, which is, I think, makes Chicago theater unique, and unlike any other theater in the country, there's a real support system. And for instance, when we started out, Steppenwolf was 10 or 12 years older than us. It was the company, and still is, frankly, the ensemble theater company. And they were always so supportive of us. Our first plays that we were producing, we found members of Steppenwolf in our audience, and John Mahoney, in fact, was one of our first guys who wrote a little check to us of support. And we've passed that on to other young companies. We try to offer support, and it's one of the cities that doesn't have the same kind of politics or pressure that other cities like New York sometimes has, and I think there's more support and compassion of young playwrights and young companies, and there's a great support system, I think, here in Chicago, and that's never changed. And the difference, I'd say, is that we've been able to hold on to that and retain that while more and more shows and bigger productions are tested out here in Chicago before, transferring to Broadway or to London. So I'm really proud that the community has somehow managed to stay kind of keeping it real and very supportive.
Great, thanks. And one last question. I know my fashion editor says you look great, you wear clothes great, and she wanted to know what you'd be wearing tonight. So what are you wearing?
Oh, tonight, this is John Barbados. John and I are friends, actually. He's a huge supporter. He and his wife and his company have been huge supporters of the Rape Foundation, of which I'm a board member. And each year he throws an event that raises a lot of money going towards the treatment of child victims of sexual assault, and he's a great guy and a great designer. So I shout out to John.
I agree. Actually, I'm wearing John Barbados also, so I knew he was. So
nice.
I couldn't miss it. So
Great.
Thanks. I think that's it. Great.